And away we go. It's just me at the moment. Not sure if Eric is going to join, not sure if Risk is going to join, and not sure if a third guy is going to join. Either way, well, the show must go on, like it always does. So, let's get on with it, shall we? White House memo argues furloughed workers not guaranteed back pay. On October 1st, a government shutdown began after the Senate failed to pass either party's short-term spending bills, and House Democrats opposed a bill that lacked continued Obamacare subsidies. Due to the continued impasse, the White House is considering an analysis from the budget office suggesting a limited interpretation of the 2019 Government Employee Fair Treatment Act's requirements for providing back pay to federal workers. This memo maintains that Congress must specifically appropriate fundings to pay for times missed during the shutdown, rather than providing automatic compensation. White House's decision could leave up to 750,000 federal employees without back pay, indicating that their compensation depends on Congress passing legislation to fund the government and resolve the shutdown. If the deadlock persists, a large portion of federal employees are at risk of not receiving their initial paycheck by October 10th, which heightens the urgency for Congress to reach a resolution. So in short, in a nutshell, the government ain't gonna do crap. They're not gonna do anything until the representatives and the Senate get back in and trying to agree on whatever it is that they want them to agree on. And if they don't, well, they're gonna continue doing not much anything else or make any other changes until eventually either they get very bored of not doing anything that isn't government related, or they're on the verge of not having enough funds to pay the federal workers. So they would have to get back in the House and the Senate and then pass something immediately so that there is some kind of pay going to the federal workers. I know there's a lot more to than just what I just explained. Just for those who don't know much about the government, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's surface level stuff. There's a lot more than that, but of course, there's so much for people to catch up on. Tropical storm Jerry forms in Atlantic. Steady strengthening expected. Tropical storm Jerry formed in the Atlantic Ocean on October 7th, 2025, and is expected to steadily strengthen into a hurricane. Jerry is forecast to pass near or north of the northern Leeward Islands by Thursday or Friday, but it is not expected to reach the US coast. The storm is expected to bring high tides, flooding, and hazardous surf conditions to coastal areas like Charleston Harbor and Edisto Beach in South Carolina. We're back again with the tropical storms, as is going to happen anyway. Those storms, they cause quite a lot of mess and cause a lot of damage too. So all I hope is that whoever is likely to be impacted by these tropical storms, that not much of their property is damaged by what is yet to come, and surely there is enough funds and, of course, access to services, as there should be, to rebuild the damaged infrastructure, or at least the essential necessities such as a roof under someone's head and possibly other foods and fluids that people would also need to survive. That's already set in stone, but who knows how much damage these tropical storms can cause. Just like remember, uh, poor Shadow Miner. He didn't see it coming last year. Last year he didn't see it coming. He didn't know there was a tropical storm that was coming his way in his hometown of Asheville, North Carolina. But thankfully, he has moved to Minneapolis in Minnesota, miles away from the damages that any tropical storm could ever do. to anywhere in the United States. Oh yeah, as of this recording, it's the second year anniversary of an event and a moment in history that literally, not just metaphorically, shocked the world. And I can't stress that enough. I was shocked too when I first heard about it. And okay, if anyone don't know, I'm talking about October 7th. Wow. It's been 2 whole years already. I remember when October 7th happened, exactly 2 years ago. At first, on the night, I just saw it as another news story, like something that everyone was talking about. I didn't think much of it at the time. However, as the weeks go by, things started to get a lot more serious. A lot more serious. Again, I cannot stress that enough than I am right now. And when I was looking into that situation, all I know at, at that time is that no matter which side someone is on regarding this conflict in Gaza, there's always going to be complicated complexities. There's going to be tons of history that goes back millenniums. I mean millenniums, not centuries, millenniums. And people are going to bring up that history to back up the claims of either side of this conflict, genocidal, however people like to call this situation. And a few months after October 7th, as the height of the violence was still going on, there was a saying. It's not a saying. I think it's just a thought I had at the time, and over the few months, it still stays true to me today, as it will for a lot of people. Well, there's likely a handful of Jewish people that want to have a plot of land that they want to call home. Not all Jewish people are Zionists, and whilst Zionists, from my understanding, have always backed the idea that they should have their own homeland for just them and them only, not all Zionists are Israelis. Not all Zionists are from Israel. They could be from other parts around the world. And whilst a majority of people that live who are from Israel practice Judaism, not all Israelis are Jewish. There are Christians in Israel, and of course Muslims in both Palestinian territory and in Israeli governed community districts and communities, and then goes back to the fact that not all Jewish peoples are Zionists, and not all Zionists are from Israel, and not all Israelis are Jewish. That's kind of this thought I had just less than a month or two in since October 7th. And even there's more information about the violence from both sides, the lives of Palestinian children and families that were lost since October 7th up until now, and especially the Israelis that have been held hostage by Hamas. Eric said this best. To support one side of this conflict is to support the killings and and being held and holding hostage of people from another side, and vice versa. And I absolutely agree with that. I definitely do. And even more than 2 years on since October 7th, I stand true to all of this knowledge. I still fully condemn the violence that is going on in Gaza, whilst there are going to be people that want the violence to stop. The issue going on now is that the governments of the two territories that are fighting they are still contributing and prolonging the conflict and the unaliving of people of both sides since October 7th. And whilst, as of this recording, there is talks about some kind of peace talks or peace deals or treaties as drafted up by Donald Trump, I'm not going to jump to conclusions just yet. And if there is ideas and phases of how these peace treaties could go down until the violence stops, I will not shut up about this, and I'm not going to make it any easier for anyone on either side. They are still entitled to their opinions, and they can continue, and I want them to continue speaking out on the atrocities that they have to go through. This has been going on for far too long. I had enough of this genocide. I had enough of this conflict. I also had enough of whatever is that people say that is the reason why we're in this mess to begin with. There is nothing else that I can say. It is that simple. As complicated the situation is, there's no other way of explaining the situation for what it actually is. Robin Williams' daughter begs people to stop sending her AI videos of her father. The daughter of the late actor and comedian Robin Williams took to Instagram Monday to implore people to stop sending her artificial intelligence videos of her late father. Zelda Williams, who is an actor, producer, and director herself, also took aim more broadly at AI content, slamming it as horrible TikTok slop. Please, just stop sending me AI videos of Dad. Williams posted, stop believing I want to see it, or that I'll understand. I don't, and I won't. The late actor died at the age of 63 in an apparent suicide in 2014. He was best known for his roles in 90s and 2000s comedies such as Mrs. Doubtfire and Jumanji. His daughter told those trolling her that she has seen way worse. But please, if you got any decency, just stop doing this to him. And to me. To everyone even. Full stop. She said. It's dumb, it's a waste of time and energy, and believe me, it's not what he'd want. I agree, I don't think he would like that either. Actually, I remember quite well, like, moments before Robin Williams passed away, that he told his children, I don't know the exact words, but I know the full context. It's about, I think there was a discussion about him allowing his children to have trademark on his likeness. So if companies want permission to use his face, his voice, or any of the characters he has portrayed to some extent, those companies will have to ask the children of Robin Williams. And if the children of Robin Williams agree, then the company will be given permission to use Robin Williams' likeness for whatever content that they are producing. So, I'm not fully aware of how the trademark sector or business works. However, I think if there are people using Robin Williams in AI-generated content, surely Robin Williams' children will be given grounds to sue those people, and I wouldn't blame them if they do that. It's in their hands to do so. Hopefully, Zelda gets through this, and hopefully whoever's doing this, they get a grip, put it up their backsides, and just continue to live life the way people want to live life. It's going to get old, and it has to stop. End of. Okay, maybe it won't stop, but at least surely people will have to understand at some point that if the same thing, if whatever that these trollers are doing, if the same thing happened to them, they won't be laughing. Oh no, they won't be laughing anymore. I'm not going to argue with the trollers. If trolls want to troll, they can troll. But only if they have been trolled back. That's when they have a problem. And they won't like it if they've been trolled back. Only they should be doing the trolling, not other people that's trolling the trollers. It's all in there, I'm just saying. It's all fun and games until it's all aimed back at you. You wouldn't like that one bit. See, if you don't want to be a victim of that, then stop doing whatever it is that you are going to be doing. Which you yourself don't want to be a victim of. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers want the hip-hop mogul sent to a low-security federal prison in New Jersey to serve his 4-year, 2-month prison sentence, telling a judge Monday that the facility's drug treatment program will help him stay clean. In a letter, Combs' lawyers urged the judge presiding over his case, Arun Subramanian, to strongly recommend that the Federal Bureau of Prisons place Combs at FCI Fort Dix. Really? FCI Fort Dix? Goodness me. A massive prison located on the grounds of the Joint Military Base, McGuire-Dix Lakehart. Good grief. FCI Fort Dix, one of several dozen federal prisons with a residential drug treatment program, will best allow Combs to address drug abuse issues and to maximize family visitation and rehabilitative efforts. Combs' lawyer, Tenny Geragos, wrote. Also, Monday, President Donald Trump told reporters that Combs had asked him for a pardon. Trump, referring to Combs by the nickname Puff Daddy, did not say if he would grant the request. Messages seeking comment on Trump's remarks was left for Combs' lawyers and his publicity team. Combs' sentencing Friday on charges he transported people across state lines for sexual encounters, capped a federal case that featured harrowing testimony about violence, drugs, and so-called freak-offs, and exposed the sordid private life of one of the most influential figures in music. Good grief, man. Why give someone the nickname Puff Daddy? Man, you can't make this stuff up. No one can take this story seriously anymore. People think it's all over. No, it's not. He's not the only one. There are more people like him that are out there, particularly doing different acts besides whatever Diddy is being accused of. Nonetheless, there are still people with the influence in an industry as well as the connections to ensure that people like them do not get caught red-handed. And if they were to be caught red-handed, they will try to prolong the amount of time that these people would be sentenced, or at least prolong when these people will be given the sentence. It does not matter if these people are caught or not. Whatever these people have done, it's already too late. There is nothing that anyone could do anything about, and it leaves a mark on more people than you think you could ever imagine. USDA warns that HelloFresh meals may contain listeria-tainted spinach. Oh dear. The FSIS has issued a public health alert for 2 HelloFresh ready-to-eat meals because of possible listeria contamination. The U.S. Agriculture Department issued a public health alert for the meals, which were produced by Fresh Realm, the San Clemente, California-based company linked to an expanding listeria outbreak tied to heat and eat pasta meals. The products include 10.1-ounce containers of HelloFresh ready-made meals, cheesy pulled pork pepper pasta, and 10-ounce containers of HelloFresh ready-made meals unstuffed peppers with ground turkey. Both were shipped directly to consumers. The pork pepper pasta is identified with establishment numbers EST 47718 and lot code 49107 or EST 2937 and lot code 48840. The unstuffed peppers with ground turkey is identified with EST P-47718 and lot codes 50069, 50073, or 506 S29. The problem was discovered when Fresh Realm notified the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service that the spinach used in the products tested positive for Listeria bacteria. Last month, Fresh Realm said that tests confirmed that pasta used in linguine dishes sold at Walmart contained the same strain of Listeria linked to an outbreak in June. That outbreak, originally tied to chicken fettuccine, has killed at least 4 people and sickened 20, with the most recent illness reported September 11th. Fresh Realms officials said genetic testing found the outbreak strain of Listeria in samples of pasta made and supplied by Nate's Fine Foods of Roseville, California. Several additional companies, including Kroger, Giant Eagle, and Albertsons, have recalled pasta salads and other dishes made with products from Nate's Fine Foods for potential Listeria contamination. Listeria infections can cause serious illness, particularly in older adults, people with weakened immune systems, and those who are pregnant or their newborns. Symptoms include fever, muscle aches, headache, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance, and convulsions. Convulsions. About 1,600 people get sick each year from Listeria infections, and about 260 die, the CDC says. Federal officials in December said they were revamping protocols to prevent Listeria infections after several high-profile outbreaks, including one linked to Boar's Head deli meat that led to 10 deaths and more than 60 illnesses last year. And this is exactly why I don't plan on eating food whilst in the United States. And again, I have made a performance at the Trap, talking particularly on what is in our food and how unhealthy it is for us. It is an outrage. It's so unfortunate. Yet here we are. And no matter how outraged people are about this, these people are going to continue doing whatever they're doing because there's going to be a lineage, there's going to be a queue for who's going to replace whoever people are in position of power or whoever's in position of roles that are overseeing and facilitating or whatever extent of decision making that they make to continue the operations that they are doing. It's not looking good, bruv. Not looking good at all. Go anywhere else around the world, the food that is made there will be far healthier than whatever the United States are producing. I'll tell you that right now. Food in other countries outside the United States is far healthier than you could ever imagine. And for more extreme cases, send people to India. Not to say the food in India is bad. However, for whatever reason, you don't see any overweight people in India. That I will say right now. I don't think I believe to see any overweight people in India whatsoever, and that is saying something. INEOS blames China dumping for cuts to whole workforce. Recently, INEOS is cutting 60 skilled jobs at its Acetil's factory in Hull, blaming sustained pressure from high energy costs and anti-competitive imports. INEOS executives blame cheap carbon-heavy imports from China for flooding UK and European markets, and urged the UK government and European Commission to impose tariffs. David Brooks, chief executive of INEOS Acetyls, noted the £30 million investment in Hull plant conversion to hydrogen cut emissions by 75%, equaling 160,000 cars removed from roads. The firm warned more sites will close and thousands of jobs are at risk without government intervention. It plans to shut 2 plants in Germany and recently halted processing at Grangemouth refinery in Scotland. INEOS is calling on the UK government and European Commission to impose urgent anti-dumping tariffs, while a government spokesperson said wholesale gas costs remain 75% above pre-invasion levels, and electricity costs will be cut by up to 25%. Dang. This is going to be a hot take. I will say, just go for it. I'm not endorsing or supporting INEOS in any way, but I will support and endorse research and production of hydrogen-powered cars. Because petrol and diesel-powered cars and vehicles, they won't be around for much longer, because you never know how much oil that there is left on this earth. And once all the oil's dried up, now what? What is anyone? What is? What's going to be the next fuel source to power vehicles? You can say, let's go to battery, electric powered cars and trucks, lorries. They're the way of the future. No, no, I would strongly disagree with that. I don't mind having electricity to power vehicles, but electricity alone to power vehicles is not a good idea. Especially where the electricity to power those electric-powered vehicles is coming from. If it's coming from coal, if it's coming from plants which is powered by coal, which is not a renewable source of energy, what happens to the coal-powered plants when they get shut down because there's no more coal left on this planet? Where are you going to get your electricity now? We don't question this enough. If people care about the environment and they care about renewable energy, they have to think in the long term. They have to think of alternatives where they can produce energy from renewable. I'll leave it at that. Whoever's responsible for researching renewable energy or whatever vehicles are run on, whatever vehicles, the power vehicles are being run on, these people have to figure something out now and fast. They may think we have all the years and the time in the world, and then, boom, you got a year to figure something out. And people do not, I don't know, there's a lot of people that do not work well under pressure, unlike me, for some reason. But that's besides the point. President Maduro asked Pope Leo XIV to help maintain peace in Venezuela. On Monday, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced during his weekly television program that he has appealed to Pope Leo XIV to assist in preserving peace in Venezuela. Maduro's appeal came amid ongoing U.S. military strikes targeting alleged drug-carrying vessels in waters near Venezuela since last month. The Trump administration informed Congress that it considered drug traffickers to be unlawful combatants and argued that using military force against them was justified. The U.S. military has conducted 4 deadly strikes in the Caribbean, with the latest strike on Friday killing 4 people. In a letter, Maduro voiced confidence that Pope Leo could assist Venezuela in maintaining peace and stability, while also accusing the United States of seeking to depose him. That's the best you can do? You're going to ask Pope Leo XIV to say, oh, we need to bring peace. We do not ask for this kind of violence. I mean, go ahead, you can do that. I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying don't bring Pope Leo. However, I have to ask, were there not any other options that Maduro could have used to prevent the US from entering the borders, having the military intervene in any, what's even going on in that country? That this is the kind of, this is what Venezuela needs, or whatever Venezuela is asking for. Goodness. Personally, I want to see how this goes. However, wow, my gosh, no, 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 no.